Okay, so that was one of the weirdest endings that we've seen on The Flash so far, I think. And I want to start at the end and kind of go back towards the beginning. Um, so that was what everybody thought was Dawn, one of Barry's granddaughters, I believe. One of the tornado twins. Actually, no, it's his daughter. Apparently, from the future, who's come back, is what everybody thought. She was in the wedding scene during the 4-night crossover, and she just popped up again, and she's drawing all those same symbols that Barry was drawing when he came out of the Speed Force. Really weird, right? I'm thinking she could be one of the bus metas instead. I don't really know who it would be or why, but I think it has something to do with luck and chance. Because the chance that she's working his wedding runs into Cisco and Ralph at the coffee shop. I think it's something to do with luck, also with the other girl. And I think they're going to be connected somehow. Honestly, I have no idea. It could still be Dawn. She might have been trapped in the Speed Force. She got popped out, and this is where she is. Right around the same time that Barry did. It might be her as a plot point to continue to develop the symbol storyline and even a bigger arc further than the Thinker, because maybe that's the Thinker's language in how he thinks in his brain. That's the symbols he uses to process and say and speak, and that's the language his mind is using now because he's at this higher level. And so Dawn came back after learning this language, met up with Barry, met the rest of the team. She's going to get put into the team for a little bit and help Barry understand that language so he can think and process the same way that the Thinker does. That would be my best guess. I don't know what I was talking about earlier. Throw all that out the window. So let's go through this episode. Episode 11, The Elongated Journey, is I think it's what it's called. It's about the elongated man and him overcoming really the first step of him being a hero. We've seen it before, but he's really just been indestructible this entire time. So there's a bank robbery, and he's took hostages, and it looks like he's trying to get all these things from the cops. And Joe's like, hey, we'll get those things for you. We need you to comply with us, and we'll comply with you. And Ralph goes in there and sneaks the hostages out, gets them to safety, and he approaches the guy super confident, super cocky, grabs the bomb off of him, puts it underneath him. I love all the animations that they do with his character because they're just so funny. He blows up, his hand just entirely poofs up and goes back down. He's like, yep, nope, I'm good. Your bombs don't do shit. He shoots the ninja stars at him or whatever, and he just shoots them right back out. I think this was a really powerful episode for him because when he pulled out that squirt gun, he got hurt for the first time as a superhero. Nothing could touch him before. He would fight it. He's like, oh, a T-Rex. Oh no, scary. But he goes straight at it because it can't do anything to hurt him. He is indestructible. Like, obviously this stuff kind of probably tingles and hurts a little bit, but like, he really can't die because of nothing like that is going to kill him. No projectile, nothing impact, but something acidic that still dissolves skin or something like that, a chemical rather than something physical, could still potentially kill him, like a chemical gas getting in his lungs, still immune, like he's not immune to that, you know? So he discovers that, he gets afraid, backs out, goes to Barry, tries to break Barry out. Barry has a really good arc in prison, and I think it will continue to be a good arc. From the trailer of next episode, it looks like it's going to still continue to be something very interesting to watch, even though he's not running around saving the city. So Ralph eventually will continue with his and then go to Barry. So Ralph continues, because this episode is about him, Ralph goes, stops the trickster and prank or prankster, and so Axel's down, his mom's down, done with. They mentioned Jesse, Mark Hamill's character, the trickster, and the reason he's obviously not in it is because The Last Jedi just aired. They were still doing stuff, promo for The Last Jedi while he was going to come and reprise his role, but it didn't follow through. They couldn't work out a time for him to come out and shoot. He was too busy with other stuff, and so they couldn't work him in. He was scheduled to come back this season for one episode, assumingly this one. I don't think he'll be back until next season, or if they try and work him in later on in the season into like a little flashback, but otherwise I don't see him coming back, unfortunately. But Elongated Man takes them out, and he says, the reporter asks at the end, did you take him out single-handedly? He says yes, even though it's not true. A lot of that was Harry, to be honest, otherwise he'd be dead. So he's taking all the credit for it, being super cocky still, but at least he faces fear of dying and is willing to go in more to save people rather than the, oh, I'm doing this for fame kind of thing, even though that's still a part of his character, is he wants to be known. So going to Barry. Barry's in prison, obviously, and obviously prison violence happens all the time. He gets in the middle of something with these three guys, and they just really do not like him for some reason. That just, prejudice happens everywhere, and it happens a lot in prison, I bet. So this little white guy goes up against these other guys who really don't like him, and he doesn't want to fight, but this other guy, this big giant macho guy who's like the Axel, the trickster's son, said, hey, you should watch out for that guy. You don't want to mess with him. He's a big guy. Like, don't fight him. He'll knock you out. That guy steps in and saves Barry when the three of them are going at him and kicks their ass. And then they try and jump him later on in the episode. And Barry had just talked to him about, hey, like, why did you save me? Like, you said my dad had saved you. Like, I don't get it. Like, he had performed a surgery on him and removed his appendix before it burst. It was really like this moment, like Barry was like, oh, yep, my dad's a good guy. I'm a good guy. A kind of inspiring moment to show how innocent Barry is, how innocent Henry was, and how the whole him coming out of the Speed Force and everything that's happened to him, where he's just gotten, or even going into the Speed Force, where his mom died, his dad died, everybody keeps dying, watching Iris die, even though it was HR, losing HR, all that grief that's come together. It's one of those moments that you just get to look back at all that and say, damn, like, this, like, Barry does not deserve this. Like, he has gotten a shitty end of the stick his entire life, and the Thinker does not care. And it shows just, not that, like, the Thinker even has bad intentions. He just wants humans to run and be more efficient. Like, that's a good thing inherently. But the way he's carrying it out and the way that he's doing the ends justify the means is bullshit, and it shows why he's an actual villain and not a good guy, because his goal is good. His methods to get to that goal, not good. And that is what makes him more of a complex villain. And that's why Barry's not doing anything. He also can't figure him out. He doesn't want to actually do anything because he just doesn't know what his plan is. Like Savitar, Zoom, Reverse Flash, you can assume he wants to just hurt Barry and wants to be the fastest person and be able to destroy Barry. The Thinker could have done that multiple times by now. He's had him trapped in his basement. He could have shocked him to death or whatever to kill Barry. There's a million things the Thinker could have trapped him into to kill him by now. He hasn't, and that's why Barry's like, I need to know more. With Savitar, with Reverse Flash and Zoom, he hasn't had that opportunity to just take them out, put them in prison, you know what I mean? they've always had the upper hand, or they've been on the same level to where Barry can't do that up until the season finale where they put him down. And so it's a totally different challenge, and it's a totally different situation, and that's what's making the season way better than the last season in season 2, in my opinion. Season 1 is the best by far, will probably always be the best season of The Flash unless they do Crisis on Infinite Earths, like the actual storyline. That would be crazy, and I don't even want to go into that because it's a whole 50-year explanation. But Barry, it looks like in the next episode, is going to be with this inmate that he just saved, and had saved him earlier, and they're going to try and set him free. They're looking at his case. Cecile probably is looking at his case and trying to find a loophole to get him out of prison because Barry thinks he is a good guy. It could be that they get him out of prison later on. He joins up with Clifford DeVoe. I really doubt that would happen, but it could be some sort of twist where he really isn't the greatest guy ever. Like, Barry still hasn't asked him why he's in prison. So I do see some sort of twist there where he gets out of prison and ends up hurting somebody, and Barry feels like it's his fault for that or something. I could see that going on. I don't know. This guy seems like a pretty decent stand-up kind of person, so I don't know if they'll actually do that. I also don't know if the actor will want to sign on for something longer. I think it's just probably a 2-3 season maybe arc, or 2-3 episode within this season arc. I doubt there's anything further metahuman power, like nothing else with the character. So, but it is cool to see that moment where Barry kind of goes, yep, my dad was a good guy, I'm really proud of him, and get that justification for him following in his father's footsteps, you know what I mean? A couple other little things to note, I guess. There's a couple references to them calling out the meta. They do this a lot on The Flash. When Barry's making the marks in his prison cell, there's 7 marks, and I think maybe he's making an 8th, something like that. It's been a week since the last episode of The Flash went on, so it's just a nod that they're keeping in continuation. And when they go on break, it's like months since something has happened. Like when Arrow, I didn't talk about this last video, but just because we're on the topic of them kind of doing the fourth wall break, in Arrow they had talked about how it's been a month and they haven't been able to find anything about, what's his name? I can't remember his name. Anything on the hacker guy, whatever. When I watch Arrow, I pay attention enough to remember his name, but when I'm not thinking about it, I'm thinking about Flash, it kind of out of my head. Anyways, they said they've been searching for him for a month, and the team has been broken up, and they haven't found anything. Felicity said, I pulled however many all-nighters in a row, and I still haven't found anything, you know what I mean? So, they're very, very aware of what they're doing with those choices, and I think it's kind of smart to like implement those like little nods in as they go to show like the continuity of everything and keep it in continuity, especially with Flash and like Legends. It's time jumps and a lot of time travel stuff or time remnants or whatever it might be. Like, it's good to have something that shows a little bit of continuity. So I think that's all I have to talk about. I'm really excited for next episode to see kind of what was going on in that trailer. I didn't get to see the full thing. It cut off like 4 seconds early. There was somebody with a blaster shooting it. So I don't even know, really, to be honest. I couldn't explain it. But I've been talking for like 15 minutes. I'm going to cut it off there and call it good. Have a good one. Peace out.